If your impossible miracle hasn't arrived yet, stay with me until the end. Saint Anthony is ready to surprise you because with God, the impossible does not exist. I know your heart is heavy with desperate cases, financial emergencies, or the pain of a family broken apart, and it feels like you're carrying this alone. Let this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony become your turning point, your first step toward a true, urgent miracle in your life. Take a deep breath, allow your spirit to calm, and let hope quietly enter your heart as we begin this miraculous prayer today. This is the moment your miracle begins, and Saint Anthony of Padua is already interceding for you. Dear friend, you are not here by accident. This is your moment to embrace a prayer that works instantly for your impossible requests, for the healing you need, for the financial advancement you desire, and for the restoration of your family relationships. You might feel like everything is lost, but even in the darkest nights, God is near, and Saint Anthony is holding your hand. Together, we will seek the restoration of your home, the finding of lost things, and a breakthrough that only a powerful Catholic prayer for miracles can bring. Keep your heart open as we pray this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, and watch as your blessing unfolds. If this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony touched your heart, comment Amen below, share your intention, and let us walk together in faith as Saint Anthony brings your miracle closer. O glorious Saint Anthony of Padua, I come before you today with a heart overwhelmed by desperate cases and deep burdens that seem too heavy to carry alone. In this quiet moment, I surrender every fear, every financial emergency, every broken dream into your compassionate hands. You who have brought miracles to countless souls, I ask you to present my urgent miracle before God with your loving intercession. Please open the doors that are shut, guide me toward financial advancement, and bring healing to every part of my life that is hurting. May this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony become the light in my darkness, reminding me that God is near even when I feel lost. Let this be the prayer that works instantly, a prayer that begins restoring hope in my heart right now. Dear Saint Anthony, I trust you deeply, even when I cannot see how this impossible prayer that works will unfold in my life. You understand what it feels like to be lost, to feel the weight of impossible requests that human hands cannot fix. Through your miraculous prayer today, I ask you to help me in finding lost things, in the restoration of my home, and in the restoration of family relationships that have suffered so much. I believe that this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony will lead me to the breakthrough I need, no matter how hopeless it seems. Cover my family with your intercession, protect us, and guide us toward God's abundant blessings. Let your gentle prayers bring peace and restoration to every broken area of our lives. Today, I place all my trust in this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, knowing that even in my deepest moments of fear and doubt, you are with me. I believe that this moment of prayer is not a coincidence, but a divine appointment for a miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony to bring urgent help into my situation. Let every chain of despair be broken, every wall of financial hardship fall, and every sickness be touched by God's healing through your prayers. Let this prayer to Saint Anthony become the seed of hope that grows into a testimony of God's faithfulness. I believe in God's perfect timing, and I hold on to the promise that miracles are on the way. May I find strength, faith, and courage as I wait for my urgent miracle to unfold through your powerful intercession. If you believe in this miraculous prayer today, write "Glory to God" in the comments, and let Saint Anthony begin this miracle in your life today. Sometimes, the first step toward your urgent miracle begins in the quiet moment you choose to believe again, even when everything feels shattered. Saint Anthony of Padua sees the weight on your shoulders and the tears you've hidden, the financial emergency that steals your sleep, the family you wish you could heal. In this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, know that your brokenness is not a barrier but an invitation for God's grace to enter. Miracles don't always arrive with loud trumpets. Sometimes they begin with a whisper in your spirit that says, "Hold on." This prayer that works instantly invites you to let Saint Anthony's compassion enter your day, bringing hope where despair has lived too long. If you can, pause right now and whisper, "Saint Anthony, help me," letting your soul lean into this prayer. Saint Anthony understands desperate cases better than anyone because he lived a life of humility, seeing God's power transform what seemed impossible. When you whisper this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, you're not alone in your request for the restoration of your home, your health, or your peace. He intercedes, lifting your impossible requests into God's hands, trusting that what is hidden from your sight is clear to God. This is your invitation to believe that your financial advancement, your healing, and your breakthrough are possible even in your darkest hour. Picture Saint Anthony walking beside you, reminding you that with God, there are no dead ends. Miracles have no expiration date. They can begin today. You may be facing a mountain of debts with bills you cannot pay, or the deep ache of family restoration that feels like it will never happen. Saint Anthony invites you to place your fears into this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, letting God's light reach the places that feel too heavy. Miracles don't always look like what we expect, but they always align with God's love for you. Your urgent help is not too small or too big for Saint Anthony's intercession. In this miraculous prayer today, surrender the burden you have been carrying alone. Let this be the moment your impossible prayer that works begins its work in your life. In the moments when your faith feels like a flickering candle, remember that even the smallest flame can light up a dark room. This infallible prayer to Saint Anthony is your moment to let hope breathe again in your spirit. Whether it's finding lost things or reclaiming lost dreams, nothing is too small for Saint Anthony to carry before God on your behalf. Miracles often arrive quietly, wrapped in moments of surrender and whispers of trust. Let yourself feel the warmth of faith as you call on this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony today. Even if your heart feels weak, God can work through your honest cry for help. Many people think that miracles are only for others, not for them. But Saint Anthony reminds you that God's love is personal. He knows your name, your struggles, and the tears you've cried behind closed doors. This prayer to Saint Anthony is a lifeline for you to hold on to when the waves of fear threaten to drown your hope. You are not forgotten. Your urgent miracle is possible because God has not given up on you. Let your spirit rise as you join this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony today, believing that your financial emergency, your family's healing, and your soul's peace are within reach. Let Saint Anthony walk this journey with you. You may feel like you are in a season of waiting, where every door is closed and the future feels like a blank page of uncertainty. But Saint Anthony's prayers can open doors you never knew existed. This prayer that works instantly is a reminder that God has a plan, even when you cannot see it. Trust that your impossible requests are being lifted by Saint Anthony into the light of God's mercy. Let this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles be the place where you lay down your worries. In this sacred space of prayer, believe that your breakthrough can come in unexpected ways. Your miraculous prayer today is not in vain. Perhaps you need restoration of family relationships that have been torn by misunderstandings and pain. Saint Anthony knows the ache of separation and the longing for peace within your home. Bring these wounds into this prayer to Saint Anthony, asking him to intercede for you to bring restoration of your home. Even when conversations feel impossible and hearts seem hardened, God's love can soften the most resistant places. Let this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony be the bridge that leads to forgiveness, understanding, and reconciliation. Miracles of peace are waiting for your yes to believe again. It may be that your body is weary, your mind exhausted from the weight of worry, and your spirit feels empty from the fight. Let Saint Anthony's intercession bring healing to your mind, your body, and your soul. This very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony carries your pain to God, who sees every unspoken hurt. Miracles of healing often begin when we allow ourselves to be loved by God in our weakness. In this prayer that works instantly, let yourself rest in God's arms, trusting that your urgent help is on its way. Even if your miracle takes time, God's love will sustain you in the waiting. When you pray this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, do it with the expectation that something will change. Miracles move in silence, in small shifts that lead to big breakthroughs. Let your financial advancement be a testimony of God's faithfulness as you place your needs into this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles. You may not see the full picture, but God is aligning every detail for your good. Saint Anthony's prayers for your urgent miracle are never ignored by heaven. Hold on to your faith, even if it feels small, for it is enough to move the heart of God. Saint Anthony's intercession can transform impossible requests into testimonies of God's glory. As you engage in this miraculous prayer today, believe that your financial emergency can become a story of divine provision. Trust that your prayer to Saint Anthony will help you in finding lost things that matter to your heart, from peace to purpose. Let this prayer be your daily act of faith, knowing that every prayer sown is a seed planted in God's fertile soil. Let yourself believe in miracles again, for with God nothing is impossible. This is your moment to receive your urgent miracle. Sometimes your greatest miracle comes when you least expect it, like a sunrise after a long night. As you continue in this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, remain open to the ways God may choose to answer. It may come through a phone call, an opportunity, a moment of peace that wasn't there before. Saint Anthony is praying with you, standing beside you as you wait for your blessing. Your miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is powerful because it connects your need with God's love. And this is only the beginning of the miracles waiting to unfold in your life. If you believe that this miraculous prayer today will open the doors for your miracle, comment, "I believe," below, and let Saint Anthony continue this miracle in your life. Holding faith. When the miracle feels delayed, sometimes the hardest place to stand is between the prayer you prayed and the miracle you hope for. In this waiting, Saint Anthony walks beside you, reminding you that your urgent miracle is not forgotten. He knows the tears you cry when you see bills you cannot pay and dreams slipping through your hands. This very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony becomes your anchor in the storm, grounding you when the winds of fear try to shake your hope. Miracles often begin in hidden places, and your faith right now is preparing the way for your breakthrough. Whisper, "Saint Anthony, I trust you," and let your spirit rest in this promise. When your mind races at night worrying about your financial emergency or the family restoration you desperately desire, remember, this prayer to Saint Anthony is more than words. It is an act of trust. It invites Saint Anthony to step into your impossible situations and carry them before God's throne. Your impossible requests are not too much for him, and your fears are not too small for his compassion. This miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is a lifeline for your spirit, reminding you that God is already at work, even if you cannot see it. Let this prayer that works instantly soothe your anxious heart. There is a sacred power in choosing to believe that your urgent help will arrive even when everything around you says it won't. Saint Anthony, known for finding lost things, is here to help you find your hope again, your peace, your faith. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles invites you to lay your burdens down and breathe deeply in God's presence. Miracles don't require perfect faith, only a willing heart that says, "I'm here and I'm ready to trust again." Let this miraculous prayer today be your turning point, the moment you decide to believe once more. You may feel that the burden of financial advancement is too heavy, but God has a plan, and Saint Anthony is here to guide you toward it. This infallible prayer to Saint Anthony can open doors to unexpected blessings and opportunities you haven't yet considered. Your prayers are not empty. They are seeds of faith planted in the soil of God's goodness. Allow this prayer to Saint Anthony to strengthen your resolve as you face each day, believing that your urgent miracle can arrive in God's perfect timing. Let your heart rest, even if your situation has not changed yet. Sometimes the miracle you need is the courage to keep moving forward when you feel like giving up. Saint Anthony understands the weight of desperate cases and the silent battles you fight daily. Through this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, let him hold your hand as you walk through the valleys of uncertainty. Your faith is a light that shines even in your darkest moments, guiding you toward the hope you need. This miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is not about forcing God's hand, but about trusting his heart. It is about believing that your impossible requests are safe in his care. You may be praying for the restoration of family relationships, longing for healing in conversations that have grown cold. Let Saint Anthony intercede for your home, asking God to bring restoration of your home and unity to your family. This prayer that works instantly can become the bridge that reconnects hearts and restores peace where conflict once reigned. Trust that Saint Anthony's gentle intercession is working even in moments of silence. Let this miraculous prayer today be the beginning of a new chapter in your family's story, one filled with grace and understanding. Perhaps you are waiting for a report from the doctor, praying for healing, or watching a loved one suffer. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is for you, reminding you that God's love surrounds every hospital room and every quiet moment of fear. Saint Anthony's prayers can bring comfort and hope to those who feel overwhelmed by sickness. Let this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony be your offering, trusting that God's healing can reach places medicine cannot. Miracles of healing are real, and through this prayer to Saint Anthony, you can invite that miracle into your life. It may feel as if your faith is being tested, stretched by waiting and uncertainty. But Saint Anthony reminds you that faith is not about having all the answers, but about trusting God in the unknown. This very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony can anchor your heart, giving you the strength to keep praying for your urgent miracle. Let your faith grow in this waiting season, knowing that God is using every moment for your good. This miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is a reminder that miracles often come when we least expect them, but exactly when we need them most. Your financial emergency may be a heavy burden, but God can bring financial advancement through means you cannot yet see. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, ask him to intercede for your needs, to open doors of provision, and to guide you in stewardship of your blessings. This miraculous prayer today is not just for survival, but for thriving in God's promises. Let Saint Anthony walk with you, reminding you that your needs matter to God and that miracles of provision are possible. Keep praying, keep believing, and keep your heart open. There is power in speaking hope over your life, even when your circumstances look impossible. Through this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, declare that your urgent help is coming, your impossible requests are being heard, and your breakthrough is on the way. Let this prayer that works instantly fill your spirit with renewed faith, reminding you that God sees every tear and every prayer. Saint Anthony is interceding for you, carrying your requests to heaven with compassion. Let this prayer be your song of hope in the waiting. This is not the end of your story, but the beginning of a new chapter filled with faith and expectation. Saint Anthony's intercession can transform desperate cases into testimonies of God's love. Let this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles guide you into a deeper trust, a greater hope, and a stronger faith. Your miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is your declaration that you believe in God's goodness, even in the waiting. And as you hold on to this prayer, trust that Saint Anthony is preparing the way for your urgent miracle to unfold, one moment at a time. If you believe this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony will bring your miracle closer, comment, "I receive my miracle" below, and keep praying with us as Saint Anthony intercedes for you. Strengthening faith and trusting in Saint Anthony's intercession. When your hope feels fragile, remember that every prayer to Saint Anthony is a seed planted in faith, no matter how small. Even if your faith is just a whisper, God hears it, and Saint Anthony carries your urgent miracle into God's hands with gentle compassion. This very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is your reminder that you do not have to carry your burdens alone. In the silence of your heart, let your spirit say, "Help me, Saint Anthony, to believe again." Every time you pray, you are building a bridge between your pain and God's promise of miracles. Let this be your moment to lean in and believe. Sometimes the hardest battles are the ones no one sees. The financial emergency that keeps you awake, the silent tears for family restoration, the fear that your desperate cases are too much for anyone to understand. Saint Anthony, known for finding lost things, also helps us find our courage, our peace, and our faith when we feel empty. This miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is your invitation to believe that God's love can reach into your darkest moments. Allow this prayer that works instantly to speak life into your situation, reminding you that no request is too big for God. You may feel like your impossible requests are stacked too high, like waves crashing over your weary spirit. But Saint Anthony's intercession brings a calm in the storm. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles becomes your place of refuge, a moment to breathe and remember that God is near. Miracles often begin when you let go of trying to control every outcome and open your heart to trust. Saint Anthony stands with you whispering, "Do not be afraid, for God's love is here." Let this miraculous prayer today be your reminder that even in your waiting, God is working. Perhaps you long for the restoration of family relationships that have been strained by misunderstandings and pain. Saint Anthony understands the deep ache of division, and through this prayer to Saint Anthony, you can ask for God's healing touch in your home. Believe that restoration of your home is possible, even if you cannot see how. Let this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony soften hearts and open doors to conversations of forgiveness. God's love is powerful enough to mend what has been broken, and this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony can be your first step toward peace. Your financial advancement may feel impossible, but miracles often arrive through unexpected paths. Saint Anthony, who cares for the needs of those who seek him, can intercede for your financial emergency. Let this prayer that works instantly lift your anxieties as you trust God to provide in his perfect timing. Ask Saint Anthony to guide you toward opportunities, to give you wisdom in decisions, and to open doors you have not yet seen. This miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is a reminder that God's provision is real, and your needs matter deeply to him. When your body or mind feels weary, know that Saint Anthony's prayers can bring healing that goes beyond what you can imagine. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles invites you to lay your pain and sickness before God, trusting in his mercy. Miracles of healing may come in small, quiet ways or in sudden breakthroughs, but they are always wrapped in God's love. Let this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony be your companion in the nights of worry and the days of uncertainty. Pray with expectation, believing that your urgent help can arrive even when you least expect it. It can be easy to let fear control your thoughts, especially when you feel surrounded by desperate cases and unanswered prayers. But Saint Anthony reminds you that faith is a choice, a decision to trust in God's love, even when circumstances look impossible. This miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is your declaration that you are choosing faith over fear. Let this prayer that works instantly become your anchor, steadying your heart in the storm. Trust that every moment you pray, you are drawing closer to your urgent miracle, and God is aligning details in your favor. Sometimes, the miracle you need is the strength to take one more step, to pray one more prayer, to believe one more day. Saint Anthony, through this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, will walk beside you as you keep moving forward. Let this miraculous prayer today breathe life into your spirit, reminding you that you are not alone. Every tear you have cried, every silent prayer you have whispered, is seen by God and carried by Saint Anthony's loving intercession. Trust that your impossible requests are not forgotten. In moments when you feel lost, remember that Saint Anthony, the patron of finding lost things, can help you find your purpose, your peace, and your direction. This prayer to Saint Anthony is your invitation to allow God to guide you step by step. Let your spirit say, "Lead me, Saint Anthony, into God's light." Your miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is powerful because it connects your heart to God's heart, bringing you closer to your urgent miracle. Let this prayer become a daily rhythm, reminding you that miracles are possible. Your financial emergency, your desire for family restoration, your prayers for healing, and your impossible requests are all seen by God, and Saint Anthony's intercession can open the way for your miracle. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is not just for others, it is for you, right where you are in this very moment. Let your faith grow stronger as you pray, knowing that God's love is bigger than your fears. Your miraculous prayer today is the key that unlocks new doors. Let yourself believe again. If you believe that this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is moving mountains in your life, comment "Miracle in Progress" below, and let Saint Anthony continue interceding for you. A deeper spiritual surrender. In moments of silence, your heart whispers the prayers you are afraid to speak aloud, the desperate cases you carry in secret. Saint Anthony hears these silent cries, carrying them as a prayer to Saint Anthony before God with compassion. It is in this quiet surrender that the journey toward your urgent miracle begins to unfold. Let this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony be the place where you lay down your burdens, trusting God with your worries, your fears, and your deepest hopes. Miracles often grow in the soil of surrender, sprouting quietly as you let go and let God. Let this be the day your faith breathes deeply again. When your mind is tired from the weight of your financial emergency and the constant noise of fear, this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony invites you into stillness. Stillness is not weakness. It is the space where God can speak to your heart. Let this prayer that works instantly help you breathe, reminding you that every breath is a testimony that God is with you. Saint Anthony's intercession is a promise that you are not alone in your struggles, even when the world feels heavy. Surrendering your control does not mean giving up. It means allowing God's strength to lift you. Trust that your urgent help is near. Perhaps your impossible requests feel like mountains that will not move, but Saint Anthony reminds you that faith can move mountains, one prayer at a time. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is your invitation to let go of fear and embrace trust. God is not looking for your perfection. He is looking for your willingness to believe. Saint Anthony's prayers can guide you toward the light, even in the darkest valleys of your life. Let this miraculous prayer today be your act of surrender, a declaration that you trust God's timing and His love for you. Let your faith grow stronger with each prayer. There may be wounds within your family that feel too deep to heal, but through this prayer to Saint Anthony, you can invite God into those places of pain. Pray for the restoration of family relationships, believing that God's love can soften hearts and mend what has been broken. Saint Anthony understands the longing for peace within your home and the desire for the restoration of your home. This infallible prayer to Saint Anthony is your bridge to forgiveness, understanding, and reconciliation. Let this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony be a seed of hope for your family, trusting God to do what you cannot. If you are praying for financial advancement, let this prayer that works instantly guide your heart toward trust, even when resources feel scarce. Saint Anthony's intercession can open doors, provide opportunities, and bring clarity to your financial decisions. Your financial emergency is not too small for God's attention. He knows your needs and sees your struggles. Let this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony remind you that God's provision can come in unexpected ways. Trust that each day brings new possibilities for blessing. Surrender your anxieties to God and let your spirit rest in His care. When you are seeking healing, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles can be your source of comfort and hope. Saint Anthony's prayers can reach into the depths of your pain, bringing light into the darkest corners of your suffering. Let this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony become your place of rest, trusting that God's healing touch is near. Miracles of healing often begin when you open your heart to God's love, even in moments of fear. Let this prayer to Saint Anthony be a reminder that you are seen, known, and loved by God. Surrender your pain and allow faith to rise within you. You may feel like you need to have everything together before God can move in your life, but Saint Anthony reminds you that God meets you in your weakness. This very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is your invitation to bring your brokenness to God, trusting Him to create beauty from your ashes. Your impossible requests are opportunities for God to show His faithfulness. Let this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony be your act of courage today, believing that miracles can happen even in the middle of your struggles. Surrender the need to have it all figured out. Let faith guide you, step by step. In moments when your spirit feels restless, let this prayer that works instantly help you find peace. Saint Anthony, known for finding lost things, can help you find your faith, your hope, and your strength again. Your urgent miracle may be closer than you think, waiting for you to surrender your fears and embrace trust. Let this miraculous prayer today be your reminder that God's timing is perfect, even when you cannot see the full picture. Surrender your need for control and allow God's love to carry you through. Let Saint Anthony's intercession lead you toward God's peace. Sometimes surrender looks like praying one more prayer, taking one more step, and choosing to believe that your urgent help is on its way. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is your place of refuge, your quiet moment with God, where your soul can breathe again. Let Saint Anthony's prayers strengthen your spirit, reminding you that you are not alone on this journey. Your miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is your declaration that you trust God's plan, even when it looks different than you expected. Let your faith rise in this moment of surrender. God is with you, and your miracle is unfolding. If you are ready to surrender your burdens and let Saint Anthony guide you toward your miracle, comment, "I surrender" below, and let your faith open the door to your blessing. Trusting fully in the miracle to come, this is the moment to step fully into faith, believing that your urgent miracle is already in motion, even if you cannot see it yet. Saint Anthony invites you to trust that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating blessings in the smallest details of your life. This very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is your declaration that you are ready to let go of fear and embrace hope. Miracles do not always look the way we expect, but they always arrive in God's perfect timing. Let your spirit whisper, "I trust you, God," as you pray. This prayer to Saint Anthony is your reminder that faith opens the doors to breakthrough. When your heart feels heavy with desperate cases, remember that God sees your tears, your hidden struggles, and your silent prayers. This miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony carries your burdens into God's presence with compassion and power. Let Saint Anthony's intercession be your comfort as you wait for your urgent help to arrive. This prayer that works instantly is not empty words. It is a living act of trust that invites God's love into your situation. Believe that your impossible requests are not too much for God. Let your faith grow stronger as you pray. Your financial emergency may feel overwhelming, but Saint Anthony's prayers can open doors that have been closed for too long. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles can guide you toward financial advancement, wisdom in managing your resources, and unexpected blessings. Trust that God knows your needs and will provide in ways you could not have imagined. Let this miraculous prayer today be your act of faith, believing that your provision is on its way. Miracles of financial breakthrough often begin with a simple prayer of trust. Let your faith rise as you continue to pray. When you are praying for healing, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, know that Saint Anthony's intercession can bring peace to your heart. This infallible prayer to Saint Anthony is your invitation to let God's love touch every place of pain within you. Let this prayer to Saint Anthony remind you that miracles of healing are possible, even when the situation feels impossible. Your urgent miracle may be closer than you think, and your faith can be the bridge that welcomes it. Trust that God's timing is perfect, and let your spirit rest in His love. Let Saint Anthony walk with you through every step, If your family is in need of peace and restoration of family relationships, let this prayer that works instantly bring your desires before God. Saint Anthony understands the longing for the restoration of your home and the unity you desire for your family. Let this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony be your hope, trusting that God can soften hearts and heal wounds that seem too deep to fix. Pray for forgiveness, understanding, and a spirit of love within your family. Let your home become a place of peace through God's grace. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is your anchor. You may feel lost in your situation, but Saint Anthony, known for finding lost things, can help you find your purpose and your peace again. Let this miraculous prayer today guide your heart toward hope, reminding you that God has a plan for your life. Your urgent help may arrive in a way you do not expect, bringing blessings beyond what you imagined. This prayer to Saint Anthony is your invitation to trust, even when the path ahead feels unclear. Let your faith become your compass, guiding you through each day. Miracles often come quietly but powerfully. Sometimes the hardest step is letting go of control and allowing God to move in your life. This very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is your act of surrender, a declaration that you trust God's will above your own. Let Saint Anthony's intercession guide you in your decisions, bringing peace to your heart. Your impossible requests are safe in God's hands, and your faith can unlock doors to blessings. This miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is your reminder that God is for you, and his love is greater than any obstacle you face. Let your spirit rest in this truth. Your financial emergency, your prayers for healing, your desire for family restoration, and your hope for financial advancement are all seen by God. This prayer that works instantly is your lifeline in moments of fear, reminding you that God's provision is real. Let this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles strengthen your faith, even when doubts arise. Trust that Saint Anthony's prayers are working in your favor, carrying your requests before God's throne. Let this miraculous prayer today be your daily declaration of trust, reminding your heart that you are not alone. As you pray this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, remember that miracles often arrive in ways you do not expect. Your urgent miracle may come through a conversation, an opportunity, or a quiet moment of peace that changes everything. Let this prayer to Saint Anthony keep your heart open to God's surprises. Trust that each day brings new chances for blessings to unfold. Let your faith remain steadfast, even in waiting. Saint Anthony's intercession is a promise that you are not forgotten. This is your moment to believe fully that your miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is opening the way for your miracle. Let your faith rise as you continue to trust in God's plan, even when you cannot see the full picture. Let this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony be your anchor in the storm, reminding you that miracles are possible and your breakthrough is near. Your urgent help is on its way, and God's love is guiding your steps. Let your spirit say, "I trust you, God, with my miracle." And as you hold on to this prayer, prepare your heart for the blessings to come. If you believe that your miracle is already unfolding through this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, comment, "My miracle is coming," below, and keep praying with us in faith. Final blessing. May the peace of God, through the powerful intercession of Saint Anthony of Padua, rest upon your home, your mind, and your heart today. May every burden you carry be lifted as you embrace this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony. Let your faith, even if it feels small, be enough to welcome the miracle you are waiting for. God sees your tears, your silent prayers, and the hope that has carried you through sleepless nights. May your urgent miracle unfold in God's perfect timing. May your financial emergency transform into a testimony of God's provision, reminding you that He is your provider in every season. Let this prayer to Saint Anthony guide your steps toward financial advancement, wisdom, and unexpected blessings. May Saint Anthony's intercession open doors you thought were forever closed. Let your heart find rest as you trust that God is working behind the scenes. Your miracle may be closer than you think. May every place in your body, mind, and soul that needs healing be touched by God's love. Through this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, may you experience moments of peace in the midst of pain. May the warmth of God's presence fill your days with hope, even when the road feels long. Let this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony remind you that you are never alone in your journey. Miracles of healing are possible for you. May the restoration of your home and the restoration of family relationships you long for begin to unfold. Let Saint Anthony's gentle intercession bring understanding, forgiveness, and love into every conversation. May peace fill the rooms of your home, and may laughter return where there has been silence. Let this prayer that works instantly open the way for God's grace to heal the wounds that feel too deep. Trust that your family is in God's hands. May your impossible requests be lifted before God with faith that nothing is too hard for Him. Let this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles strengthen your spirit as you believe in God's ability to do the impossible. May your urgent help arrive in unexpected ways, proving that God is attentive to your needs. Let your faith anchor you in moments of doubt. Miracles often arrive quietly, but they change everything. May your spirit find rest in the promise that God is with you, guiding you through each step of your journey. This miraculous prayer today is your daily reminder to trust, even when answers are delayed. May St. Anthony's prayers continue to carry your hopes to heaven. Let your faith remain steady as you wait for your urgent miracle to manifest. God's timing is perfect and His love is unending. May you never lose hope in the power of prayer, even when your heart feels weary. Let this prayer to Saint Anthony remind you that miracles do not depend on your strength, but on God's love. May you wake each day with renewed faith and expectation. Let your days be filled with gratitude for the blessings that are coming. God is already working on your behalf. May your home be filled with God's peace, your spirit with hope, and your mind with clarity. Let this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony continue to guide you toward trust and surrender. Your urgent miracle is already in motion, even if you cannot see it yet. Let your spirit remain open to God's surprises. You are deeply loved by God, and Saint Anthony walks with you. May your life be a testimony of God's faithfulness, showing others that miracles are real and prayers are powerful. Let this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony be your anchor as you continue to trust in God's plan. May every day bring new opportunities for blessings to unfold in your life. Let your faith inspire others to believe in their own miracles. You are not alone on this journey. If you receive this blessing, comment Amen below and trust that God and Saint Anthony are moving in your life today. Have you felt God speaking to your heart during this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony? What miracle are you trusting Him to perform in your life today? Are you ready to let go of fear and embrace faith, even when the path feels uncertain? What would change in your life if you truly believed that your urgent miracle is already on the way? Let these questions stir your spirit as you reflect on the faith you've ignited today. You do not need to be perfect to pray. You only need to be willing to trust that God loves you deeply. Each prayer you have made is a seed planted in faith. And Saint Anthony is walking with you as you wait for your breakthrough, your impossible requests, your prayers for healing, your need for financial advancement, and your longing for restoration of family relationships have all been heard. God is working in your life, even in the silence. Your life will never be the same after this moment of faith. If this prayer touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Your blessing may inspire someone else to trust God for their urgent miracle. Imagine the joy of seeing your family and friends experience their own breakthroughs because you shared this prayer with them. Together, we can create a community of faith, hope, and miracles. Let your testimony be the light that guides others toward God's love. As you leave this moment of prayer, let your faith remain active. Keep expecting your miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony to bring the transformation you seek. Stay connected with us, and let's continue to pray together daily. Your journey is not over. It is just beginning, and God's blessings are waiting to unfold in your life. Trust, believe, and prepare your heart for the miracle to come. If you believe your urgent miracle is already unfolding, like this video now and comment Amen below so we can pray for you by name. Your comment helps build a chain of faith that inspires others to believe in their miracle too. Let Saint Anthony continue to intercede for your needs as you take this step of faith. Your voice matters, and your faith can move mountains. Share this prayer with your family and friends so they can also receive the hope, peace, and miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony they need. You never know who might be silently praying for a breakthrough. By sharing, you are planting seeds of faith in others, allowing God's love to reach more hearts. Let's spread this wave of miracles together. If you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of our powerful prayers that can bring comfort, peace, and breakthroughs to your daily life. We are building a family of faith here, and you are an important part of it. Let's continue walking this journey together, trusting God and Saint Anthony every step of the way. Finally, take a moment to thank God and Saint Anthony for the miracle already on its way. Speak it out loud, believe it in your heart, and let gratitude overflow as a sign of faith. Your blessing is closer than you think, and your testimony will inspire others to trust in God's faithfulness. Thank you for praying with us today, and may God bless you abundantly.